Hey y'all, insight number 2. We're in 2 Nephi chapter 1, verses 14 through 15. And this is Lehi really trying to stress to his children here. Would you please listen to me about Christ, because I know him. I've spent a life getting to know him. And he's so good. I want you to know him too. So that's what he's saying when he says awake and arise. Now we'll hear awake and arise often in scripture. It's a call to stop time wasting, stop procrastinating, stop dwindling away your time and opportunities of growth. And so, whenever we hear, especially in conference talks, that we'll read it in scriptures, and yes, it was applied to the people at that time, but that lesson applies to us too. So this is also talking to us, but especially when we hear it in conference, awake and arise your faculties, or anything to that, like wake up, do better, like anything like that. It's a call to action. It's a call to get out of bad habits or get out of no habit, right? And create something better in your life. Be better, because you have that possibility right now on earth to grow and become. Take it. Life is hard. Live it. Be brave. Go out there, do it. Some days it's terrifying. Some days we're not well. I'm not particularly well today, but I'm still making an effort to do life, because if you don't, you're wasting it, and it's such a precious gift, which I haven't always treasured. To completely honesty here, I have not wanted it many times, but I do have it, and there's so much good. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but I can hear the Simon gibbons at our zoo, which is like 1 kilometre away, and it sounds like they're next door. They're loud. What a treasure to be able to hear that in New Zealand. I can hear rainforest apes in New Zealand. Pretty cool. Privilege of living life where I live. Love it. At the same time, I can have all the fruits and veggies locally. I can look out and see the local mountain of Prongia, and I'm not far from the temple. There's so much privilege I have. I don't want to waste that. So yeah. All right. 14 and 15, he says, awake and arise from the dust, and hear the words of a trembling parent, whose limbs you must soon lay down in the cold and silent grave, from whence no traveller can return. A few more days, and I go all the way of the earth. He knows he's going. He's like, please listen. This is like deathbed calling you here. I know I'm not going to last. Come. When my granddad was passing away, he was like, come and talk to me. And sometimes he'd just fall asleep, but he just wanted to talk to me. Was giving me stuff and telling me things, and I'm like, you already told me this. He's like, I want to make sure you remember it. He was so much I really want to make sure you remember it. When he did pass, and my mum and I was cleaning out his stuff, he had written down his stories that he had to tell, that he told us all the time. There's no way we're going to forget those. But we probably weren't going to pass them on, so he made sure they were written down. Not only that, they were typed, in triplicate, and saved on various formats. So he really did everything he could to leave his gems of wisdom with us. But the biggest wisdom he left my mum and I was his example in living. And my younger brother and sister, they're quite a bit younger than me, so knew him some, probably not in the same way, especially because he was more like my dad growing up. He was the one who was my father figure. I spent so much time with him. He was a travelling curtain fitter, carpet layer. Go with him in the holidays. I learned so much from him. He would talk to me about all sorts of things. So the stuff I learned off him, huge. So when he was passing away, he wanted to make sure I remembered it. And I'm like, I'm not going to forget that. But here's the thing, am I passing it on? And I try. But, no one really more than me or my generation of that's going to be that interested. Great-grandkids somewhat. But more interested in what's happening now. So that's why it's important for us to pass on our own lessons, because our own lessons last for maybe 2 generations, and then they want the next generation down's lessons or the future things. So, while this is good, he wants to make sure these guys are going to pass it on, which is what they did. It's great, and we have it, and we love it. So it's an interesting dichotomy of where you place what you want to know. You're not so maybe interested in mum and dad, but you're interested in your grandparents, and you're interested in your, ancestors from 600 BC. That's what you're interested in. So it's an interesting thing as to what you are. So it's important for all of us to leave a good legacy, so that the generations after us can find goodness in that. Huge. All right, and verse 15. And behold, the Lord hath redeemed my soul from hell. I have beheld his glory, and I am encircled about internally in the arms of his love. Now he's talking about, I know God. I know Jesus. I have known him. I do know him, and I will know him. So Lehi stresses this several times as an admonition about awake and arise. It's in several times in this, and you'll see it throughout Scripture as well. Awake and arise. Please listen. I know Christ. You can too. And although it's directed at sons, it's a plea from a loving prophet too. So take that on board as well. Is there something that you could awake and arise in that you are currently slumbering in and not taking advantage of? Something that's just sitting there for the taking. The richness of it in like a gospel sense, in a family sense. A friend the other day is just like, oh, my dad's visiting. I don't know what to do with him. I'm like, you know what? Just spend time with him. Just sit down and watch TV and talk. He will love that. And he did. And it went really well. And he's like, it's amazing. I'm like, yeah, because that's what he needed. Something rich right there for the taking, and you're overcomplicating it. Just take the goodness of it. Like someone handing you free, delicious ice cream. Just take it. Oh, I could do ice cream right now. Anyway, okay. So, verse 15 notes statements of past, where I came from. Right? Behold, the Lord hath redeemed my soul from hell. Past, has done that. Where I came from, and I'm now redeemed. Excuse me. And it says, I have beheld his glory, and I'm circled about eternally. So, I have seen his glory, and past again. So I'm redeemed. I've seen his glory. I know he's awesome. Present, encircled about. I'm encircled about in his arms of love. And the future there, now and future in his love. It's just so nice to see that. The relationship wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't something that's only for earth. It was before, it is now, and it's going to continue on. Awesome stuff from Nephi, from Lehi. I'm glad Nephi wrote that down. Beautiful words there, and it goes on to say some other things, really great advice, and we're going to look at some of those things over in verses 20 to 27. We'll do that next, but these whole chapters are rich with advice of just general good life living, whether you even want to be Christian. Great if you are. I would highly recommend it. However, that's not even for you. It's still just great advice from someone who has been through so much. It's worth listening to. It's worth reading and taking on board to improve your current status, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your outlook, or whether it's actually the physical things around you. Great advice. So please, I invite you, I implore you, I highly recommend soaking in this week's Come Follow Me. It's incredible. Told you I wasn't well. All right. I will see you in the next one. We're still in chapter 1, just a few verses over. I'll see you.